Hey guys, welcome back. Now, if you're looking right here, what I have here is the Google Nest Hub. Now, I know what you're thinking. This has been around for ages, and yeah, you'll be right. So this device was actually released by Google back in 2018. And back then, they actually just called it the Google Hub. But yeah, I never really got one. Didn't really see a reason to at the time. And so I never really got about reviewing it. However, recently a friend of mine got it and he wanted to know what I thought about the hub. So I'm like, yeah, if I'm gonna test it out, I might as well review it. So yeah, here's my 2-year late review of the Google Nest Hub. Right, so first talking about the design now, this has sort of become the signature look for the Google Smart Home series, and anything to do with the Google Smart Home or Google Assistant kind of has the same signature. And yeah, this is no different. So you've got your white screen over here, you've got your back with the speaker, and you've got the same like a white sort of speaker with a cloth. I mean, they've also got the charcoal black as well, up to you which one you decide you want to get. But yeah, aesthetic wise, I think it's really good. It keeps to the whole Google feel of all their products. Now, one thing I really like about this is the screen. All right, now there are a lot of this like cheap photo frames that you can buy, and some even not so cheap. And this kind of does the same thing as well. So, I mean, this is one of the many things that it can do, but we'll talk about that later. But in terms of the color reproduction, the brightness and all that, I've actually been a bit taken aback. I didn't expect it to be that good. Now, when you set this up in your smart home, you can do, it's very similar to how you set up your Google Home Mini, your Google Home. So there's really no difference. So I'm not really gonna talk so much about how you set it up. But yeah, the one added feature is that you can actually link your Google Photos account to your Nest Hub. And don't worry, it's not just gonna play random pictures. I mean, it can if you want it to, but you can also choose. You can create albums and then select the pictures that you want to rotate on Nest Hub. Or if you already have an album created within Google Photos, yeah, you can just choose that one and then it will randomly play. And that's really nice. What I really like about it is that like there was a phase some time back where a lot of people started buying this digital photo frame, which was cool, and it's still a really good idea. The problem was that after a while, people stopped updating it because every time you wanted to put new photos, you had to take out the SD card, copy, put it back, and after a while, people just didn't bother. However, with this, you don't need to do that. It syncs with your Google account. You can choose the photos, and anytime you can just set it up with your phone. You don't need to get a card and set it in or plug in anything like that. And by the way, it doesn't have any SD card, no USB slot, no nothing. What else do I really like about it? Now, one really nice thing about having a screen instead of just like a Google Home or Google Home Mini. Now, originally it was sold as, the Google Assistant. You can just tell Google to do certain things and it'll do it for you, which is nice. However, there are certain commands that you want to do or certain things that you want to do that, I don't know, it just seems like it's a bit of a waste of time to say it verbally, whereas on the screen I can just click, I want to turn on the lights, turn off the lights. Very, very simple. I can do it in like 5 seconds. It would take longer to actually ask Google to do it. So that's really nice. Obviously, you can watch videos on it. You can watch YouTube. It's got news feeds that comes in, like from CNN, and you can actually just click on it. It'll either be an article or it'll be a video, which is really nice. For me, it just really seems like something that helps you like in the morning when you wake up. So in the morning, you can control your lights if you don't have routines, but that's a whole different thing. You can also, have your news out for you. You can read it out either via radio or you can just like watch the news as you wake up. So that's really nice. I mean, it's a really versatile product. So what you want to do with it really is up to you. But yeah, and it really is the last, like almost like the icing on the cake or the cherry on the cake. In terms of having your smart home. I think this is really, really good. And if you have a pretty big house, which I don't, I have a really small apartment, having this in each like major room actually is a really good idea. And another cool thing about this, like I said, you've got YouTube on it as well. A really good idea would be to have it in the kitchen. So a lot of times when I want to cook and I want to try something new, I want to watch the recipe. Or like watch the video on the recipe of how to cook it before I actually do it. And so I'll watch it and then I'll go back and then I'll cook and then I'm like, oh, I forgot this, and then I'll go watch it again. And I don't want to put my phone near the stove, obviously. What you can do is you can put this in a certain like position where you can still see the screen and it's not too far away, and you can actually watch the recipe while you are, while you are cooking, and that's a really, really cool thing. Okay, so now things about the product itself that I don't think are that good or I wish were improved on. Number one is the sound quality. Now, in terms of the sound quality, I would rate it sort of like in between the Google Hub Mini and the actual Google Hub. The Google Hub is a bit more body, a bit more bass, but this one, the Nest Hub has definitely much more clarity than the Home Mini. The Home Mini can get pretty loud, and this one can too, but this one has better clarity at a higher range. I do wish that this had better audio quality, but there is a solution, and I'll talk about that later. And now what I think is actually the deal breaker for me, the Google Nest Hub doesn't have a camera, okay? Now, when they released it about 2 years ago, what they said was that they didn't put a camera due to privacy concerns, and they wanted to make sure that this was secure, all right? Now, honestly, I don't buy that for a second, okay? Now, what I think actually is the case is either they just didn't want to put a camera in, they didn't think it was a good idea, or it was an issue of cost, and I think it's actually got more to do with the cost. Now, with like the Amazon, I forgot what's the name of the device, they have a camera there and they have a physical slider. That's it. It's not that difficult. They should have put in a camera, all right, and do two things, like either put a physical slider to cover the camera, so even if someone hacks into the camera, all they'll see is black, or have a physical switch at the back that switches it off. Now, obviously, the Google Nest Hub has a microphone, but it has a physical switch at the back, and it's not just like a software switch. It's actually a physical switch that breaks the connection of the microphone. So even if someone hacks in, they can't turn it on if you switch it off. They could have done something similar for the microphone and for the camera really easily. So I don't see what the problem is. The only thing that I can think of is really got to do more with the cost. Okay, now when they released this a couple of years ago and they gave their reasons for not adding a camera, straight away I called BS. I said no, they're doing that because they want to come up with a bigger screen later on and add a camera so that you have two choices and you can differentiate between the two. Now, I was right, okay? Although it took a bit longer than I expected. I think about a year later, they released the Google Nest Hub Max, okay? So that one has a larger screen, better speakers, and it's got a camera. And okay, I will admit, the one feature of the camera is actually really cool. Now, it's got a really wide angle camera, not just so that you can catch a very wide field of view, but also because it can actually track your face and it focuses it and moves. So let's say, for example, you've got this on like in the kitchen and you're washing dishes and cooking, but you're also like talking to a family member or friend or something. While you're walking around, it'll actually track and follow you around, and it will adjust, things like your light and all that, so that you're always in the center of the camera. And I actually think that's really, really cool. Okay, so now talking about the price. So right now in Singapore, you can get this between like $125 to about $130 on Lazada. So actually, in terms of price and what you're getting, I actually think it is really good value. Right now, you can get the Google Home Mini, like the first generation, for like $30-40. You can get the Google Home for about $100 or about $120, depending on where you look, in Singapore dollars. And this one is about the same price as the Google Home. Although right now, I think in some places you can get the Google Home for even about $100. I think right now you just have to choose. Like for example, if you really like the feature of the screen, and it's really just a screen because you don't have a camera. Now, if you have a screen, you can use it to make phone calls as well, but it is only audio calls and it only uses Google Duo. All right, you can't use Skype, okay, which is also very unfortunate. But if you don't need a screen, just get the Google Home. I think that's really good. Overall, in terms of value, I actually would have to say that it is actually pretty good value. I just wish they really added a camera. If they added the camera, hands down, I will be recommending it like forever. Now, comparing this with the Google Nest Hub Max, okay, now that actually isn't available in Singapore. It's been quite a few months and it's still not available. I don't know why. But recently I went to visit some relatives in Australia and I actually found out that it's actually being sold there. And it's being sold for about $350. So that's really expensive. And it's, more than double the price of this. So I'm a little surprised at why it's that expensive. I mean, that's not saying that it's going to be the same price when it's here, but if I'm not mistaken, Google controls the prices of their products, so it will probably be around that price. And if the Google Nest Hub Max is going to be that expensive, yeah, I also wouldn't recommend it. Although having said that, I haven't had a chance to test it out. So who knows, maybe in the future, if I get my hands on one, then I'll do a full review and then we can compare the two and see which one is actually better. Alright, so that about wraps up this review. Now, if you like this video, you know what to do, and I would love it if you would subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to receive notifications on our next video. I'm JP, and I'll see you real soon.